First of all, thank you for inviting me to attend, be part of this conference. You know, when I hear about ethics, I'm very sympathetic because I've been, I've been working, actually, we started the field of roboethics 20 years ago. So I'm very glad to share with you. And in fact, this paper this presentation is also the result of a collaboration that we have between engineers and roboticists, biorobotics like me, and social scientists like Fiorella Battaglia, Marianna Capasso, Federica Merenda, also Vincenzo Spadoni, who is an engineer but is very much interested in social issues. So is a paper, is a presentation that has been prepared together, and we are addressing together this kind of issues and challenges, but also opportunities. Because robots are among us. You can see here a summary of what we do with robots now in our institute. So you see robots with children, robots for substitution and restoration of people with neurological diseases, robots for surgery, service robots, wearable robots, educational robots, and prosthetics, and so on, marine robotics. So those are robots that are here, not dreams, but reality. And I would like to make this as an important issue for my contribution. You know, most people, including I think many colleagues participating in this conference, are addressing the issue of the threats and opportunities of digitalization. But actually, robotics is part of it, and is more than digitalization, because robots are about action. So robots do things. And you know, this is very important also in terms of ethics. So while data, the web pose problem about cybersecurity of data, privacy, and so on, robots pose completely different problems, or at least the problems that are related to the digital world, but add to the digital world the domain of action. So robots do things. Robots lift weight. Robots can touch people. I like really to point out the domain of robotics as a key one for also this field, so ethics and digitalization. And not only picture, as you have seen, but the real action. So those are our tests with real stakeholders, real users, informal caregivers, formal caregivers, for example, in the assistance of elderly, frail elderly person. But it shows what I mean with robot companions. You know, of course, our cell phone is a companion, in fact, for most of us. Our cell phone has an intimate relation with us. Our cell phone contains all data, our private data, in fact. Most people do not realize this clearly. We do, obviously. But robots are also here already to live with real people. It's not science fiction, it's becoming a reality. For example, we have done a real service with real robots for door-to-door waste collection. So these robots, for example, have served in a real small town in Tuscany with real people for 2 months, being used by people and navigating in the traffic and so on. So coexistence between robots and people is possible not only at home or in a controlled environment, but also in real urban or small towns context like this. Just to point out that we do this and that this is becoming a reality. Unlike, sorry for the noise, but you will see what we mean with the collaboration. You know, this is a beautiful video. You see here, Sami Haddadin, who is a very good colleague of mine, good friend. He, during his PhD, he developed this technology together with KUKA in Germany. And he was able, actually, his supervisors did not want him to do this, but he did. And today is, in fact, the director of the School of Robotics and Machine Intelligence at the Technical University of Munich. But he has been the initiator, if you will, because Europe has been at the forefront of this research in the world about what are today collaborative robots. So you realize here what we mean with collaborative robots. So robots can really work with people today, not in the future. And soft robots, in fact, that is another kind of technology, is used already for assisting, for example, frail elders. Is another kind of collaborative robotics, if you will. But robots are around to help. You know, this is the sense of companionship that I want to point out. You may remember the case of the Deepwater Horizon. Deepwater Horizon was essentially, there was a tremendous oil spill. Many people do not remember, but it happened 11 years ago. And this could have polluted the entire ocean. I mean, all oceans in the world. It's incredible. There was a spill that lasted almost 2 months, and nobody was able to fix it because the depth was about 1,300 meters. So nobody, no humans could go there. So how the oceans were saved? By robots. So a underwater robot went down, controlled, of course, from the surface, and after some attempts, it was able to allow humans to close the spill, to lock the valve, the lost actually, the spill, and to save the planet, if you will. This is a reality, it's not an expectation. And also, humans are preparing to go to Mars, but we have sent our, how to say, explorers, you know, our pioneers. And now for more than 20 years, 24 years, we have rovers on Mars that are essentially exploring Mars, preparing the future of the humankind. So humans will go to Mars within, well, difficult to say, 5-10 years now, and the robots are helping humankind with extraordinary technology. All of us know, and they are there. And there is also robots are on the bottom of the ocean. Sorry, this video is not visible, but actually, those are crab-like robots that we are using in the sea just in front of Livorno and Pisa, the coast, to explore the bottom of the sea. This is not a very deep sea, but it's like 30-40 meters, in fact. It can be more, and essentially capturing, for example, microplastic. So this is something that is compatible. And robots can also work, and they have worked with us, for example, to produce masks during the pandemic, or in the supermarket. This is in Germany, but also in Greece, children keep learning using kind of, let's call social robots. Actually, I'm the co-author of a paper that was published on Science Robotics. The impact factor is 27 now. this journal. I'm a founding co-editor about the role of robots in combating COVID-19. And this was published on 28th of March, 2020. So it was the main point where clinical care, logistics, reconnaissance, monitor compliance, and so on, different applications that were already explored, let's say, robots with helping humans in these circumstances. And Italy has been also involved very much in this. You see here also Fiorella Battaglia, who was a co-author of these papers about how Italy, the Italian robotics community, reacted using, for example, this kind of approaches. So essentially sanifications, but more also assisting or helping doctors to put, or nurses or medical personnel to put patients severely, in intensive care to communicate with the relatives using by a robot helping this connection. So many different applications. Now, robot can help, in fact, even after the pandemic, to build a better world. This is our thesis. And is a thesis that is based on speculations, but also road mapping. If you look here at the movie I, Robot, that is beautiful, but also other movies that speculate that human and robot could coexist. We are really talking about companions, but I hope to have given to you the idea that companionship is a very, very broad concept involving all activities of humankind, including personal assistance. And this is becoming, not many people are considering this, but in fact, last August, Elon Musk made an announcement that, in my opinion, considering what Elon Musk has been able to demonstrate, he has also been considered as a mad guy when he made an announcement, and then the Tesla car came, and then the SpaceX and the Hyperloop train and other electricity distribution fields, in fact, in Texas came. So he's a guy who is able, in most cases, to anticipate the future. He presented in August what he called the Tesla bot. Okay, that is exactly the anticipation of what could be a robot companion. Okay, that in fact, if you look at the possible market of a robot companion, I'm sure that all of us would like to have a robot that irons or makes the bed or cleans the bathroom. Okay, I'm sure that all of us would like to buy or rent such a robot. And if you look at figures, those are tremendous. So the market estimates are billions and billions of as a market, And when a guy like Elon Musk makes this kind of crazy anticipation, it is likely that they will become true within 5 to 10 years. So I believe that this is going to come. And then the point is what to do, how to deal with these new companions, okay, beyond the web, beyond the telephone. And in fact, we are investigating this kind of problem related, again, to mobility, to some level of autonomy, some level, and to ability to act, lift, make actions. Okay, this is what robots do in addition to the web. So we refer to basic, let's say, I would say fundamental issues, rather, for example, to Kant and his statement about the character of human species, but also how this could be altered, let's say, by the advent of these machines that are no longer in a factory, are no longer driven by humans like cars or airplanes or ships, but are likely to live together with us. And so we have to manage this. As I mentioned, we started in 2001 with a pioneer workshop that I co-organized in Japan together with our sister university, Waseda University, and that we called a techno-ontological approach to roboethics. So what is roboethics? It's the ethics applied to robotics. And so the human-centered ethics guiding the design, construction, and use of the robots. And roboethics discusses the potentialities and the limits of robotics to help building a better human society. So this is what we said in 2001. We discussed in Tokyo in 2001, but then this became also a series of events, workshops, special issues about, you see, roboethics. So there is something that we as Europeans have pioneered together, in this case with Japanese colleagues. And however, after a while, we decided, by the way, this is the robot, living in the small town of Pécoli near Pisa. We moved from ethics to legal issues. Why? Because legal issues came, and in fact, and I would like to share with you some considerations on this, really something that is very practical. So it's about regulating the use of robotics with citizens, regulatory agency, and lawmakers. And we started with a European project, RoboLaw, that a colleague of mine, Professor Palmerini, coordinated, and which has this kind of goal, regulating these actions here. You see, he got the prize for the best, the most innovative legal problems addressed by Professor of Law, showing that this collaboration can be, in fact, very fruitful. And then, and this is, by the way, what RoboLaw produced. But the idea was, in fact, facing law and ethics together. And the idea was to uncover whether existing legal frameworks are adequate and in which ways developments in the field of robotics can affect norms, values, and social processes we work. And this is something that we did 10 years ago, essentially. And then this approach was further pursued by my colleague Andrea Bertolini, who proposed and coordinates a very important European project that is about regulating robotics, but also artificial intelligence. By the way, there is in fact a debate of what comes first, if artificial intelligence or robotics. And I would like to share with you or to encourage a debate about this. What are the relations about intelligence and about action? Okay, that is the feature of robotics. So we have the Scuola Superiore Sant'Anna, the Jean Monnet Center of Excellence on the regulation of robotics and artificial intelligence that is very active and is, in fact, promoting schools and events and so on. Now, toward the conclusion. Actually, we like and we are exploring with my colleagues, social scientists working in our team, the concept of social robotics, okay, involved in the digital and ecological transition that is in fact the key word of the Next Generation EU program. And there are two mega trends, in fact, digital transition, ecological transition, that are twin, that are very closely related. And the question is how social robots can play a role in both these challenges. Actually, we have seen how robots can practically deal with ecological problems, can deal with assistance to an aging society, could help workers in novel manufacturing plants. So this is in fact well described in a program of the European Union that calls already Industry 5.0. You may remember what is Industry 1.0, that is about mechanization. The second industrial revolution is about mass production. The third industrial revolution is about computer and automation. The fourth is about cyber physical system, essentially the connection. What we call 4.1 is about AI connected to Industry 4.0 technology. But the fifth industrial revolution will be a disruptive change, not incremental, like the first steps. And this will be about the revolution of the sustainable economy and the regeneration. Sustainable means sustainable, actually, this is the point, from an ecological point of view, from respecting the planet, for the role of energy and so on, but also is about social sustainability, of course. And this is about human-centric, so promoting talents, diversity, and empowerment. So this is what we want to do and what Europe will do. It's industry, but actually we can call enterprise, because this can be for everything, not just for manufacturing, could be in the public administration, could be in agriculture, could be in tourism, could be in arts, could be in every kind of wellness of activities that are not only based on manufacturing. Incidentally, just a couple of hours ago, I discussed with colleagues the future of logistics, and in particular what is coming, that is called dark factory. You know what dark factory means? It means a factory with no humans, and in fact, no life, and in fact, no even heating and refrigeration and air conditioning, nothing. Just a factory where only machines work. You know, this is a future that is, in fact, fully predictable. It will come, and it will be related not only to artificial intelligence or digitalization. This is why I'm pointed out this very important aspect, but it's related to action, to robots, essentially. So machines that are able to move and to act within the factory or in the logistics or everywhere. So just really concluding, the Japanese model, for example, is also very interesting. Europe, I gave you the definition of Industry 5.0 in Europe. The Japanese model, they call Society 5.0. And it is something that envisages, you see, once again here, the robots, you know. By the way, we also have projects about robot KUKA, okay, who collaborate with humans in improving, just as helpers, as assistants, not really as chefs. We want to be the chefs, and the robots will help us. And but you see here these typically Japanese keywords like comfort, vitality, high quality life. So it's but essentially you see here in this picture how they envisage the future of society, in which you see there is a family, but there are elderly people, of course, there are children, there are animals, and there is a robot. So the robot as a part of a family, if you will. Is this possible? Is this yes? From a technical point of view, I already answered, and I hope I answered already. It is possible. Of course, there is more progress is needed, more innovations, but they are coming. They are coming. So I would like to invite you to consider this kind of figure as a reality, as something that in 10 years will become true. And so I think, and in fact, we also work in this direction, that we should investigate already the future and how this will and should be regulated, because of course there are incredible opportunities about the use of robotics that in fact can act as an inhibitor or an enabler, even for the 17 goals listed in the United Nations Agenda 2030. Robot can help in many of such tasks, as I hope to have not really demonstrated, but at least I would say proposed as already feasible or feasible in the near future. And obviously there are opportunities to address. By the way, this is the crab robot. I was not able to show the video, but this is the robot on the bottom of the Mediterranean Sea, just in front of Livorno. So it's a reality, actually. And so this kind of opportunities should be taken. But also there are threats. For example, the issue of inequality, professional polarization, cyber security at a different level, because obviously a robot, I'm not showing the final part of the movie I, Robot, but I hope that many of you remember. And so robots in principle could be out of control. So cybersecurity is about data, it's about privacy, but threat in robotics can be about a physical threat, for example, in the case of, because if robots are able to make physical actions, are also able to make physical threats. And this has to be considered. I believe it's very important to consider and regulate. We know that robots can become weapons. For example, in countries, not as much in Europe, fortunately, but in the USA, in China, for example, but also in North Korea, in Iran, some countries that are probably not, I would say, for different reasons, certainly, could be interested in this kind of things. The robot can be a weapon, or a weapon could be a robot, and the robot could be independent, could, for example, shoot and kill people with a certain level of autonomy. And this is happening. So those are among the threats that we have to deal. So to conclude, certainly we are in the middle of a digital and ecological transition. This is a mega trend, in fact. So the next generation of robots, in particular social robots, will operate in this new scenario. Robot companions are, in this sense, particularly suitable to meet these challenges, but of course they have to be affordable, sustainable, and inclusive, not possibly discriminating people, because it's technology that could also discriminate. And robot companion can play also a pivotal role in addressing environmental, economic, and societal needs identified by sustainable development approach. So could help us from this point of view. Thank you very much.